I don't want to push you about the cottage, but if we could have it even just for a few months. You're not losing it anyway, not right now. Your cottage, it would be exactly the right start for us.
Walking through the forest, hand in hand with the love of your life. At dawn, the way the sun comes through the tree at dawn sometimes. Shafts of sunlight lifts the sexual element right up. It's as if nature planted its heart there. Conditionally beautiful. You're right, it's a beautiful picture.
Yes. I still love him. Just for the moment, love has been obscured by panic and anxiety.
You understand what I'm saying, John? It's asking too much of you, the exit papers. Forget about it. Just get me a ticket to Switzerland.
Morris, how can I go to that station again and ask for a ticket, for God's sake?
Ask for return.
Or returns! I'm a bloody officer in the SS.
That cheesecake, I bought it at Adaption. I can't stand them. I go in every day, hand over my money, don't get a hello, thank you, nothing. Bloody Jews, eh? Jews in the same boat as me, who've done me no wrong except they don't wish me a good afternoon. I can't stand it. Nazis who want to crucify me, I buy cheesecake for. What a neurotic.
Just another word for a human being, Morris. Neurotic.
Oh, very good that, Johnny. Major insight. Take the cottage. Use it in health and joy. I won't need it in Switzerland.
Morris, you don't need to go anywhere. This is a temporary racialist aberration. Hitler won't last another 6 months. You said it yourself.
It's a basic biological drive, you see, Johnny. When people come after you with machine guns, you start running. Look at me. I'm calm. I'm looking at this coldly and rationally. Yes, it's temporary. The trouble is, Johnny, with all these machine guns about, it's not going to take too long a temporary racialist aberration to finish off the whole bloody Jewish population.
I love Jews. I'm attracted to their whole culture. Why do they have to be such a problem to everyone? Nobody takes the metaphysical racialist rubbish in Mein Kampf seriously. Nobody can even read it.
Doesn't listen to people, I'm telling you. There's legislation coming in the next few days. The next day, today, maybe even yesterday, against men without foreskins. Laws. I've got fucking hard information, Johnny. How will you get me those tickets to Switzerland? No, you won't. Understandable. Look, it's cold, and I've got enough going on in my head without getting pneumonia.
When you're out of this anxiety state, Morris, you'll see. Hitler is not going to survive. They got rid of Rome, and they'll get rid of him. It'll be all right.
Yes, it'll be beautiful for you.
When you're out of this anxiety state, Morris, you'll see.
Yeah, maybe when I'm in the ground.
He was cutting himself off from me. Good. I was free of him. And he turned back and looked at me. No, I said to myself, watching him. I didn't think it would be as easy a parting as that.
You'll have to run from here, John. For your fucking life. As much as me, maybe even more than me.
It's lovely of you to have invited us. Oh, it's no problem, really. A new home needs guests.
Especially one as beautiful as this cottage. Johnny really has moved up in the world since we first met. Good man, Johnny.
Thank you.
To John. A fine man, a good Joe, and a decent husband. To John.
John.
Please, you're all far too kind.
Nonsense, you deserve it. Although I like to think that I had more than a little part to play in this coming-of-age story.
This house is simply beautiful.
Yes, the previous owner left in such a hurry, we hardly had to redecorate at all.
And perhaps you could show Elizabeth the upstairs. I'm sure it's just as luxurious as down here. Maybe even more so if I know Johnny at all.
It was a lovely night.
John, I want to talk to you.
It had been a lovely night. Anne's cooked a duck for dinner. I cooked a duck for dinner for you, especially.
Good woman. Christ! It's an excellent woman you got there, John. You want to hear the verdict? The verdict is... we can't have kids.
That's only one opinion, Freddie.
Johnny, don't be nice to me! Not now.
Nothing that marvellous about having children.
Well, you can say that because you've got children.
Yes, you're right. I used to dream of having children before I had any.
It's all I hear at the department. When are you and Liz going to get on and breed some children? Perfect couple like you? They're obsessed with fucking breeding. When this gets out, it's bound to go against my record. Without children, there's no chance of progressing. Not that that's why we want them, of course. That's the official line. But it doesn't make it any easier.
No.
The doctor promised some discretion, but if there's questions asked, I can't see how this won't get filed.
Maybe that doctor's wrong. But what else could I say? I was getting to love him and Liz.
I haven't slept for weeks, John. I just lie there, imagining what could happen. Imagining the worst. You and I both know what could happen.
We all imagine things, Freddie. I often imagine music. I could just be sitting with someone, having an ordinary conversation, and suddenly...
If you could find someone to aid the process, to donate his efforts, would you?
Darling, there's a letter here. It looks like it's for you.
How did they find me?
It's probably just a happy coincidence.
I'm sorry, I have to leave.
What is it, Freddie?
Darling?
We're to report to headquarters immediately, Johnny. The Jews have shot von Rath.
Who's von Rath?
Oh, just another secretary in our Paris embassy that happens to have a bullet in his gut. More importantly, the poor sod has ruined our evening.
How?
Well, ladies, put it this way. If he doesn't make it through the night, I would not want to be a Jew tomorrow. I hope my bishops are ready for some confessions.
But if he's just one man, just another secretary that doesn't mean anything to anyone, then why all this fuss?
Haven't you been listening, John? A German has been killed by a Jew. It's the sheer cheek of it. You don't really think the leadership are going to pass up an opportunity like this, do you? I'm sorry, Anne. I'm sure your duck would be a meal to die for. No rest for the wicked, though. No?
You haven't said what you'll be doing, though, Freddie.
Probably burning down a few synagogues.
But I thought all this stuff with the Jews was finished. You said they'd stopped all this.
Yes, I thought they had.
But you're not really going synagogue burning, are you, darling?
No, of course not. First is the briefing, then comes the point-by-point planning of the spontaneous outbursts of popular expressions of indignation tomorrow. You two will have to have a lovely time on our behalf.
Oh, but John's is a purely honorary rank.
All ranks have been mobilised.
In the morning of the night of broken glass, I didn't have to go into the university. I went into the garden and dug the last of the potatoes. The air was sharp and all the sense of autumn was still fresh. This Jew operation tonight, it weighed on me. Along with the food, I could never properly digest duck. Morris came into the garden playing the clarinet. Listen, this Jewish operation tonight. If you look at it in perspective, yes, it's not a good thing coming down on a racial group like arresting Jews, breaking into their homes and synagogues, and no doubt, I'll be honest with you, Morris, kicking in quite a few Jewish teeth and balls. But you know the roughnecks in the party. This was bound to happen. I'm not deluding myself, am I? Morris? This is a regime in its infancy. A social experiment in its earliest stages. Self-discipline isn't formed yet, but it could be. If the Jews stayed here much longer. You see what I'm getting at? Some of the more extreme elements in the party could get out of hand. Christ knows what they do to the Jews next. I see tonight as basically a humane action. It's going to shock the Jews into the reality of their situation in Nazi Germany. Tomorrow morning, they'll be running for their lives out of the country. A sharp, sudden shock that'll make those who still delude themselves that they can stay here in peace face reality.
Oh,
Bravo! It's a bad thing. No question. But work it out. If I died, that would worry me. The idea of being snuffed out. If I got cancer, if I got put into one of those camps, that would worry me. If Anne stopped loving me and ran away, that would worry me. I've got a whole scale of things to worry about, and the Jews and their problems, yes, they're on it, but very far down. Way down the scale, for Christ's sake. That's not good, the Jews being so low. As an intellectual concept, it's a fairly high as a moral problem. The thing is, I am fundamentally a happy person right now. That's it. That's the problem. I'm happy. Absolutely.
Come on, John. It's time.
John, relax. Oh, are you all right, love?
I had a picture in my mind, out there in the garden. Germany's been turned into one great prison. You don't think we should run away? It mightn't be too late.
Too late for what? Run away where?
No, sorry. Sometimes I panic.
I know. Now listen, that's exactly what you're doing. You're panicking. What exactly are you going to do tonight? Think about it. You're going out on police action. You're not going to shoot anyone, do any violence to them. No. Your orders are to keep things under control. Stop people burning down Frankfurt. That's all.
Yes. You've a good, logical mind. That's good. You're right.
Someone in the family has to have one. Hmm?
But I can't help but feel, when I was out in the garden, I thought, I've ruined your life.
How have you done that? If it is ruined, oh, the words you use, love, if it is, I did it myself. Of course I wish you didn't have a wife and children that keep pulling you from me, but you have. Now listen, I love you and you love me. As long as we're good to each other and those around us, well, that's all that matters, isn't it? Hmm?
Listen, you're so clever. Everything you say is so true and logical. You're right.
Besides, any Jew with any sense would have left months ago. The ones left must be utterly stupid or desperate to cling to their property. You're not going to be in any danger.
It's not me I'm worried about. I promised Morris he'll be all right.
It's not your fault.
You don't understand. I should have helped him while there was time.
He can look after himself. He doesn't have a family. Would you risk everything we have for him?
If he came to the house tonight...
John.
If he did, you'd have to keep him here until I came back.
John, please.
I'll get him the exit papers he needs and...
John! Listen to yourself. Look at yourself. We've made our choices.
It's a terrible thing. But it's a wonderful thing, getting into a uniform. Pardon?
There's a reference here to your friendship with a Morris Glenstein.
Maybe a professional relationship. He was my doctor.
It says here he was a psychiatrist.
He aided my work.
It also says that you continued to associate with him after he was prohibited from practice.
Did I?
This would have been 1938.
Now I remember, yes. He approached me around that time, asking me for papers to leave the country. I, of course, referred him to the proper channels.
Good. I see you've been writing on the Jewish question since our last meeting.
I saw it as a matter of import.
Oh, don't we all? I must admit I initially found your resolutions to be quite liberal. Always talk of resettlement. I always presumed it would be easier to once and for all settle them on the ground.
Popular view.
Best not to make them martyrs, I suppose.
True.
As you know, my position enforces me to keep a close eye on the actions of significant German influences, but I take a personal interest in you, Professor. Your work has already been of great use to the leadership, but in times of war, as we find ourselves today, Germans must be prepared to give that little bit extra. You understand?
Yes.
We are currently engaged in a mass resettlement in the East.
Of the Jews?
You'll be happy to hear that transport is already underway. We need to ensure that wherever the Yids end up, it is run as efficiently as possible. We can't afford to waste good money controlling a passive enemy in such a climate, and so we'll need constant reports from a man we can trust.
When would you like me to start?
With immediate effect. Was there anything else?
This resettlement. Would it be possible to find anyone?
Did you have anything in mind?
Well, say a test of the system to check its efficiency.
Records! I'm rather proud of this. A cross-index of every Jew, gypsy, homosexual, and every non-German you could ever hope to meet. It's all recorded in this department.
Very impressive.
So, shall we try our little exercise?
Of course. Say that doctor you mentioned, Glenstein. Would your records be able to tell us where he ended up, for instance, purely as an exercise?
Very well. The Professor and I are looking for a Dr. Maurice Glenstein. Date of birth?
1898. Or thereabouts.
Ah, we have a match. You'll find everything on there. Age, background, where he was evacuated to. even where the poor bastard was picked up from.
John, where have you been? It's so late. You frightened me. You're leaving. Where could you be going at this time? Are you going to go without saying goodbye?
I know what you did.
What?
He came to the house that night.
Who?
And you just handed him over!
How can you say that? How can you even think it?
One thing you can say for the Gestapo. They keep extremely thorough records. I got into Sachsenhausen concentration camp in the morning. Up until then, we had driven past normal industrial towns, busy with work. I was sitting by the gates, feeling insecure as I always do when I'm away from home. Before I'd reached the camp, I'd been told that finding an individual would be impossible, the processing rate being what it is. When I arrived at the camp, the commandant, Hoss, was waiting to see me.
Heil Hitler.
Yes. Funny man. Poor soul. Something wrong with him. I was trying to work out what it was when he welcomed me.
It's very kind. Right leader Buller sending his regards. Of course, convey mine to him. With very kindest regards.
He showed no emotion. That was it. Might have been some mental condition. Or stress. The job the poor bastard had. How do you feel?
Pardon?
How do you feel? Like now, for instance, I'm looking at that dandelion pushing its way through solid concrete, trying to push its way through. It can't get through, of course. But concrete rots in the end. It all rots in the end. Even you and I. That thought, it makes me glad.
You asked me how I felt. Better than you.
The funny thing was, I heard this band playing the Schubert March. Oh, I registered myself. We're having Schubert now. But then I became aware that there was in fact a group of prisoners. Maybe in my honor, I'm not sure. The important thing was, the significant thing was,